After my last couple of videos, the last time I checked, one of them hasn't even been viewed. I'm still going to continue doing it anyway. I was just going to make a quick video just to say my last couple have basically been about me being back in the UK and how happy I'd been back in the UK, now back in Rome, and yeah, just back to being as depressed as fuck basically. I think I said a couple of videos ago that I was wanting to make more videos, like maybe one each day. That didn't work out pure and simply because basically I had an interview, a job interview, which subsequently I've not heard anything back from them, but hey, at least I got one job interview out of all of the jobs that I apply for. I don't know whether or not to do it every single day. It might be a bit of an overkill. Going back to all of the people that basically are leaving the UK, I wanted to do a few videos basically of my personal experiences and my advice for people that are all thinking about leaving the UK. So those ones I will start doing gradually. I don't know. I think I might do one video that's got all of them. I've already started a list of 10 things to take into consideration about leaving the UK and move into another country, and then I might break them all down and I might try to do 10 separate videos for each of those things on the list, and so I can try to focus more on them, because I did record video but it ended up basically just for one point on each of the things on the list. I found that the first point that I ended up doing a 25-minute video for. So I kind of thought, well, I can't continue going through the list, otherwise it's going to be well over an hour. And considering people aren't really watching the videos anyway, I just thought, is it really worth putting the effort in? Really. So I'm just going to keep this short, sweet and simple. Just a quick video now, just to sort of say what my intentions are, really, what I want to try and focus on and do. And yeah, one thing that I will mention today, it's not part of the list, but I'd like to mention living here in Rome. So one thing is, I see a lot of people that are all leaving the UK and going to Thailand and all of that area. And it just makes me wonder, you know, how they're all feeling now after that earthquake. Are they feeling better about moving to Thailand, or are they kind of thinking, actually, it probably wasn't a really good idea? I mean, that's one of the things for me, personally, that I felt within the first year or so of moving here to Rome, is I experienced my first earthquake. I mean, it wasn't a 7.7 or whatever it was like in Thailand, but it was substantial enough for me to think, is everything moving around me? What's going on? Is this an earthquake? And at that particular time, I was sat in my living room watching TV with my girlfriend, and she was asleep on the sofa, and she wasn't aware of it. But me, myself, I was sat there with my feet up on a sofa, watching my knees basically rocking back and forth and thinking, what's going on? And then I searched it up on my phone and found out that there'd just been like a mini earthquake. It was at that point then, really, that I started thinking to myself, what have I done? Why have I left the UK? I've never experienced an earthquake in my life. When I was in the UK, worst I've experienced is, like, you know, pretty bad snowstorm that, you know, most part kind of shut down the whole of the UK, but that's not quite so bad. If you start thinking about the fact that here in Italy, you see a couple of years ago there was a bridge that collapsed, and it's because of the building practices in Italy are substandard. Basically, they're not up to the same standards and quality that you would expect in the UK. I mean, I know that some people would argue saying that it's bad in the UK as well, but when you take into consideration, you think about Thailand and places like that. We saw a video of a huge skyscraper. It just completely collapsed, like World Trade Center style, you know, 9/11 style, basically. Completely collapsed. I know it wasn't completely finished, and that's probably why it collapsed, but I've seen a lot of stuff here in Italy that I've just kind of thought, man, that just wouldn't happen in the UK. And it worries me, you know, if I was in an earthquake here, I mean, I'm sat here in the garages now looking up at a great big watermark on the ceiling from a leak. I mean, my girlfriend and all of the people here in this apartment block are trying to take legal action and doing all sorts of things, because there's just so many problems with the apartment block that we live in. It's just basically been done as cheaply as possible. Lots of standards of building procedures have not been followed. They've just tried to do everything as cheap and as simple as possible, because Italians are basically quite lazy and they don't follow rules, they don't follow laws, they just don't care. And, you know, for all I know, it could have been some building firm that's basically been run by mafia, and they've just taken a huge, great big contract from the government to build it. And then they've taken a huge, massive cut of the money themselves, and they've just tried to do everything as cheap as possible. So it's sort of things like that that I kind of think that people really need to think about when saying they're just going to leave the country, because, you know, you start to realize, you start to see things in other countries and kind of, as I have, just kind of think, actually the UK really isn't that bad, certain aspects. I mean, I know there's a struggle for jobs, but there's a massive struggle for jobs everywhere across the globe. Everything's imploding. The whole world, as I said in another video, everything's f***ed, basically. There's just not really any way around it. We've kind of just got to navigate our way through life somehow. It's got to find sort of some way of, I mean, a lot of people are trying to find ways of making their own money online and such like. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, just trying to find some kind of way to make my own money, not have to work for any other company and find myself getting made redundant again and in the same position. So this just one thing really to think about. But as I say, I want to do more in-depth videos for people that are really thinking about leaving the UK, and, you know, things that people really should think about, because, as I mean, my cliche now is just going to be, the grass really isn't greener on the other side. So that's that basically. That's my short video, keeping it nice and short, sweet, simple, 10 minutes. See you later. Ciao.